Hey guys, this is Crap Hunter and welcome to another episode of World of Tanks. Woo! Today we're going to be we're going to be reviewing, there we go, the T1 Heavy, the American Tier 5 heavy tank. Yeah, T5, first American heavy tank if we go into the nation, there you go. The first American heavy tank you get, which if you want to know can be gained from going into the M3 Lee. When you're at the M3 Lee, you have two choices. You either go to the medium line or the T1 heavy line. So both of them are pretty straightforward choice-wise. And I will, I'm not going to provide a major summary because I'll do that at the end. But what I will state is that this tank is full of surprises. Like, it's not, it's okay, well, we'll go into the stats first because I don't want to give too much away. So, stats will go away. So, 660 hit points. Now, that's actually quite good. For obviously tier 6, tier 5 is very good because you've got, well, not many heavy tanks out there which can boast lots of hit points. The only ones that can boast that are higher than you, I believe, is the Churchill one. The Churchill one has 700 hit points with its top, and well, everyone knows a Churchill, and that's pretty much the same thing. For the Germans now, because don't forget, Germany has a heavy. I don't believe can boast as much. I believe they've got 650, and the same goes for the French as well. The 650 BDR G1B. The Chinese don't have any heavies at this point. But with the lowest hit point wise is the KV1 with only 640. So you are pretty much in the middle, upper part of health points, which is actually quite helpful, especially when you're dealing in higher tier matches because every hit point counts. Now this tank is a heavy bugger, with weighing at just over 58.5 tons. Yeah, she's a heavy bugger. No modules as well, and she can go to a maximum tonnage of 61.5. So, yeah, she isn't light at all. However, as with all American things, no doubt many of you have heard of the classic American tank. Classic American stuff, very powerful engine. The T1 Heavy actually benefits from this quite well in a different kind of fashion, with a engine power of 960. Now, no, it doesn't. Ah, crud. Okay, well, I was hoping to go onto there and show you what kind of power to weight ratio there is, but all I can state is that it can actually get itself to a 35.4 speed limit. Now, that may not seem super fast in some aspects, but what really helps this tank is the acceleration. This thing is absolutely fantastic at accelerating. I will say, when it comes to tier 5 matches, or when you're in a match, there is nothing greater than a heavy tank being able to go up a hill at a decent pace. To give you a good example, I was in a tier 5 match where it was on the famous Ettenberg, I believe, or Rutenberg. The one where it's a map where you've got, obviously, the massive hill, and to be able to climb that, this tank can easily keep its 10 kilometers per hour speed limit, whereas other tanks will be struggling to get over 5. So that's one big, really useful advantage that this thing has. Though there is a disadvantage in some respects, because although the speed limit it's not fast, it gets up to a good thing, and also its traverse speed. It's not that good. I mean, it's noticeably bad. It's sometimes you get stuff which is like, oh yeah, of course, you'll recover, and it's barely noticeable. 25 on this one is noticeable, so something to be aware of when fighting. Now, although traverse speed wise is bad on this occasion as well, it's actually kind of a good thing that it's kind of got low traverse speed. Main reasons why, we'll look in the armor now. 83 at the front, 44 to the sides, and 41 to the rear. And if you want to know what the biggest weakness of a T1 Heavy is, well, you're looking right at it. The entire side of this tank is a ginormous target. I mean, oh dear God. Yeah, I've killed a lot of T1 Heavies with this method because it's just such a big target. It's not something that you can, easily hide, put it that way. That's why when it comes to attacking places, you've got to be extremely careful that you don't show the side of your tank. And a bad T1 heavy driver will always show or somehow always show the side of this tank. You can't use that kind of angling thing because, I mean, most of the time your treads will take it, but if you're caught out in the open with your side exposed, you're pretty much as good as dead because it is just such a big target. In fact, I'll do a little comparison. You know the T-34? Keep this in your mind, right? This is a T1 Heavy's size and of the side, right? This is the side armor. Check the size, right? This is the... yeah, okay. T-34, right? In your head. T1 Heavy. Oh, you're so dead if you show the side. I mean, for the turret, it's not as bad. 102 to the front, 83 to the sides, and 83 to the rear. It's not perfect by any means necessary, any means, but it's better than the side armor. But yeah, if you're wondering about a weakness, the whole side of the tank, it's just so easy to shoot these things. I mean, the height as well can make it difficult for you when you're climbing up hills. Like, gun depression wise, it's not... It can be a problem, especially when you're trying to hide. Hiding this thing is a bitch, I will say. It is quite a pain in the ass. But, whilst we're on armor, there are benefits to this. The front of this tank is surprisingly bouncy. Now, I don't know whether it's because of the there isn't any sloping at all. If there is, I'd be impressed. This is the most sloping you will see. So, most shots, you would assume, would go through, and some shots do go through. If you're in a tier 6 match, or you're facing off against high penetrating tank destroyers like Stugs, or well, actually no, Stug. Well, yeah, we've bounced a couple of shots off the Stug with its L70. Now that could be, angling wise is still important, but you can bounce a fair amount of shots, and that was one of the first things I noticed about this tank whilst I was driving, was it's just it's surprising resilience to bouncing. And yeah, I mean, there is an underglacius, but that's really tiny. But you'd think, because the front of this tank, if no offense, seems, when I say that, I mean, it's very similar to the M4 Sherman, which basically is like paper. The front of the Sherman tank, if any of you guys have played either against or as the Sherman tank, you'll no doubt know that the front of it armored. It's so thin, shells can piss through the front. So, front like that, it's surprising. I will say that it's very surprising when that was bounced. I mean, the turret also gets a fair amount of bounces because you can see the little bits of armor. But, I mean, I wouldn't say thoroughly rely on this. Like, if you're in a tier 6 match, assume that most will go through the front. But you can bounce a surprising amount, I will say, for that one. Continuing on, for turret traverse, not really worth mentioning. It does the job. There isn't any sort of extra special features about it, but 30 degrees is the standard pretty much on that one. Moving on to viewing range, 330. Now, okay, let's go now to check out the other tanks. So we'll go upwards via Russia. So the KV-1, let's have a look, see what he's got turret-wise. 310. So we are better than Russia. What about Churchill? The Churchill has 350. Okay. So yeah, they have better view range. What about Germany with its VK3601H? V3601. 360. That's pretty bad. But what about the French? This will be embarrassing if the French are better. And they are not, thank Christ. Phew. Okay, so with the view range, you're not bad. You're in the middle, pretty much, with that one. Not the highest spectrum, regretfully, but you are pretty much in the middle. I think even slap bang in the middle. So, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's pretty good view range. And as long as you're working alongside, if you're working alongside the KV-1, you'll be at sights. I can't say the same. However, I can't say the same good part for its signal range, because unfortunately it only goes up to 480, and that's the top radio for this tank. We'll once again do the same routine, go from Russia first, and the KV-1, has a tier 7 radio, which goes up to 440. So we're better off than the KV1, which is a good thing, by about 80 hit points. Shouldn't have done that. Let's go up to the Churchill 1. Yeah, the Churchill, well, the British earlier tier have access, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. No, on the Churchill, the British have access to the tier 8 radio, which takes them up to 550, which is 80 meters better than you. Ah, crud. Of course, with Germany, many people of you will probably know Germany has access to the FUG 12 at tier 4, which means it'll have access at tier 5 with a 710 meter range, and it is fantastic. All these vehicles are compatible with it, and I will. I think I might. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in the past, but I always love seeing the FUG 12 at loads of different tanks, because I would say it's the handiest piece of equipment I have ever bought, because it covers probably 3/4 of all of the German tanks out there. Tank destroyers, light tanks, mediums, heavies. It's the handiest radio I've ever bought. Let's have a look at the French to see if they have any better. Ah, they do. They go from tier 3, tier 5 to tier 9. And at tier 9 it is 710. So, and they unlock it at the B1 as well. Shit. That's not good. Yeah. Yeah, the Americans unfortunately do not have the advantage in radio range. But at the same time, I mean, okay, I'm not going to say, well, don't worry about that, you're American. But at the same time, okay, I'm going to put it in two perspectives. One, you know, yes, this is a disadvantage. Radio-wise, you won't be able to communicate with. If you go, say for example, you're on El Haluf, you're at the, you know, I'd say the clutch point. I'm going to call it clutch point. And you're at the clutch point, and you don't exactly know what's going on down south. You know, with the FUG 12, you'd have a better understanding. So yeah, that can be a disadvantage. But on a plus side, no one ever pays attention to their minimap. So in a sense, you may be fine. Of course, the same thing applies to you. So it is a disadvantage. So for view range, you're in the middle. For signal range, you're at the lower end of the stick, and it can be quite a pain. But it's it's a pain in the arse, but it can be overwhelmed if you use it tactically and also have backing. You could back up teammates who may have the top tier radio anyhow. So that's can be useful stuff. So let's go on to the armament. Now this is the other disadvantage that this tank has. It doesn't have a diverse selection of guns. Get ready for it. Boom. There you go. That is the selection of guns that you have. If we go to the research tech tree, I'll just show you. You start off when you stock. If you haven't researched, no, I think they pretty much you start off with this. You've got a 3-inch M7 gun, which is absolutely garbage. It's M3 Lee style. Worth of usefulness. It's basically, well, actually, I think this gun is actually better than the M3 Lees, which is surprising. 76 millimeters worth of caliber. About 14 rounds a minute, 101 pen, 100 standard 110 damage, terrible accuracy, atrocious aiming time. Oh, it is absolutely terrible. And it's a real pain in the arse to get through, especially if you hit a tier 6 match, because you're like, God damn it! Because even a premium makes you no better than a tier 5 stug. Oh, it's a horrible tank. It's a horrible tank. It's a horrible gun. It's just terrible. I very much was happy when I got this gun. And in fact, I was kind of fortunate that I actually didn't have to research this gun. All I had to do was research the turret. Because luckily, this gun, if you find it familiar, is because you're correct, because it was on the M4 Sherman. This is the top gun that you get on the M4 Sherman as well. Let's go click onto there. Bob's your uncle. There you go. So, it is, well, it's, you know, it's not, I mean, for a heavy tank, you'd think there'd be something bigger on the top, but for a T1 heavy, it's not bad. I mean, you know, 16.67 rounds a minute, 76 caliber, 128 pen, .43 accuracy. Still got the horrible, still has the horrible 2.3 aiming time. But an interesting fact actually comes into this, which is actually quite interesting. I find it quite interesting, is when you use standard ammunition, you actually get 5 more damage on average damage more than if you were using premium. Now, this actually kind of comes into that famous argument, because if you're new to World of Tanks or you haven't really heard it, there's this ongoing argument between premium users, I don't know, premium users or just people who are, I don't know. There's this argument going on where people are saying that premium shells are really stupid. They should take them out of the game, and that it makes the game more pay to win more than, play with skill. And to a degree, I do get what they mean with that. But if they actually, if I was thinking, if there was a way to answer this to kind of make it fairer, that would be an interesting way of doing it. A standard shell, which you can get for in-game credits on this one, it has more damage. Does more damage than, say, a premium would. Because, obviously, there's been an answer to this, which is the company have gotten rid of the ability for people to only have to pay gold for it. So, and basically, it means it's a lot more even. And they've done the same probably with the consumables, but I don't really think they're going to answer it. But if they also did something, however, if they did something like this, where they put 115 damage instead of 110, I reckon that would kind of balance the boards a bit, and maybe even could eventually see the end of premium ammunition. Because I know a fair amount of famous YouTubers also hate this. So, question of the day. Do you feel that a increase in stat damage for standard shells would be the best answer to dealing with premium shell users? Because, think about it. If the standard shell does more damage, then it will encourage the standard people, or the premium people, or those who are hungry for gold, to just use the standard shells and dump the APCR. Who knows? It might answer a few problems. It may just mean that there are going to be less people who use it. But I'd say that would be kind of cool. Wargaming, if you're watching this, could you do that for premium shell users? Because you're still going to get people who buy it, but they won't do as much damage. Like it's small, there's like a tiny amount more. You can see where I'm coming from, guys. And finally, the crew skills and what equipment I would recommend. Well, first of all, as per usual, I would state improved ventilation, medium caliber gun rammer, and the third is up to you. But here are my recommendations. No, don't bother. Yes. No. We'll go in more detail. Don't bother getting that, because that is stupid and you will never hide your tank. This thing stands out like a sore thumb in the middle of a blizzard. No, don't bother. Ammo rack, I've not actually had problems with ammo racking in this thing. It's not as, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't think it would be a wise investment. Don't worry about it. Don't get a binocular telescope. This thing is not a camping tank. The gun alone tells you should not stand still with this thing and fire. You have to when you're approaching someone, but that has to be within a medium to close quarters. This thing is not a sniping gun. This isn't a sniping gun. So to try and use a stationary telescope is just a bad idea. Literally, the best way to kill a T1 Heavy is to stand still to try and camp. Yep, I've seen it done so many times. Because people fall under the general impression, and I'm not surprised, that because you're in a heavy tank, you can take it on and dish out the punishment. But the problem is, the gun doesn't have enough power or the accuracy to effectively dish it back out. So it's a bad idea, however bad the view range may be. Coated optics is less of a bad choice, because obviously it's immediately active. You don't have to stand still for a few moments, and it does help improve your view range. But I wouldn't recommend it, because 500,000 credits to potentially increase your view range from 330 to perhaps 350. Okay, it's handy, or perhaps 340 even. But I don't think it's worth it. I honestly don't think it's worth it. it's something which if it's a recommendation, it's on the third. It's on the I wouldn't really, but if you really want to, it's not a bad idea. But it's not something I would actively seek out. This, however, is something I would actively seek out because obviously that horrible 2.3 aiming time is just oh god. If you can find any ways to improve your aiming speed, which actually is improved thanks to the ventilation and okay, maybe not loading time, but the ventilation shaft and and the gun lane drive works absolutely fantastic. I would highly recommend this, and in the skills as well. That all of it will actually help your accuracy. So immensely recommend this one. This is a definite recommendation. I wouldn't think about doing that. I mean, maybe. I mean, this thing is an assault tank, so maybe that's not a bad idea. But once again, it's not something I'd actively seek out. However, what is something I would seek out, but not determinedly, is if the gun, sorry, if the heavy spore liner isn't actually a bad idea at all. Mainly because this, as I've said before, this thing is a massive target on the side or even above. And if you have something like that, it's not a bad idea because it protects you from artillery and it also can protect your crew because there's a frick ton of them. And if one of those goes down, your tank is hampered. So it's not a bad idea. Don't bother with that. It's bloody useless. I have never once in my entire World of Tanks career thought that was a good idea. Maybe some person has bought it and it has been useful, but I severely doubt it. So, recommendations are, to sum up, get, obviously, ventilation in medium caliber gun rammer, and for the ones that I wouldn't seek out, but wouldn't be a bad idea, would be either coated optics or heavy spore liner, and highest recommendation, enhanced gun laying drive. So, on to the crew skills, and obviously, because your crew is quite big, giving the right skills to the right crew may require some tact. You have to think. Oh god, did I say the T word? Did I say think? Oh good god. Never mind, don't panic, it's be okay. I have the ways to guide you through. As I said, yeah, you've got a lot of crew, so this will require some tact. That was the famous T word. So, for your commander, either repairs. Actually, repairs probably would be a good idea. I mean, mentor isn't a bad idea as well, because that means your rest of your crew will train up quite well, and as there's a lot of them, it can make sense to do so. So, repairs or mentor, a high recommendation. Probably repairs more, just so that way you don't notice the difference with mentor. I'd say repairs until he gets to 100%, then swap that for Sixth Sense, and after that, go with mentor. There we go, yeah. So repairs, swap it for Sixth Sense, then start training in mentor. Now, because you've got two gunners, I don't know why there's two gunners for one gun, but whatever. So anyway, for this one, I would say one of the gunners has snapshot, and then he would train to 100%, and afterwards, he would then train in repairs, and then what was it? No, I'd say repairs. No, yeah, snapshot. Right, sorry. So start in snapshot, and once he got that goes to 100%, go on to armorer, which is a skill, it's not super useful. So either go, but it can help in case something goes wrong, like your gun is hit, because it does happen occasionally. So go from snapshot to either armorer or repairs, either way, and then maybe after repair, either or after armorer you go for repairs, or after repairs you go for armorer. The second gunner, this is where it gets interesting. The second gunner, I would recommend getting repairs until 100%, then swap it out for Deadeye, then go straight back for repairs, and after you get the second repairs, go for designated target, which basically means the enemy, which basically is where if you see target, the gunner spots it and it'll make it, it will show more, it'll show it up more on the radar for a few more seconds than maybe it would. So that is kind of a handy skill. And the whole point of these two gunners is that they will both be training in useful skills, but it won't be, oh, both of them are training up in repairs, when really you could be using them for a better purpose. For the driver, obviously you want to have clutch braking because the lack of maneuverability in the traverse speed will be essential, after which then you can go for something like either smooth ride is not a bad idea because you are an assault tank, and accuracy when firing the move. If you do want to try a clutch shot, it's not recommended, but give it a go. Off-road driving as well is not a bad idea. Actually, it's probably a good idea to go for clutch braking, off-road driving, then smooth ride, or repairs as well. So once you've got clutch braking, go for repairs to ensure that. Then go for off-road driving, or swap it out for off-road driving, then switch back to repairs. Whatever your call. I mean, both of those things are skills. So if you want to train them up, you can do it whilst you can train it up whilst you're going up that line, or either way. So yeah, it's. I would definitely say improve. That would be a definite high recommendation to go for first. Then probably go for that, then go for that. Or that, then go for that. Not camouflage. That, to go to that, and then go back up to that, and then go back down for that. For your radio operator, obviously you want to improve the repairs. So obviously repairs first, and then once you've hit 100% on repairs. Now, this is the weird thing about a radio operator. Situational awareness is something I would recommend you get, only because it actually does increase the view range. I don't know how a radio operator can increase the view range of a tank, but it saves your commander having to get something like recon. After which you can then go for something like signal boosting, which can be useful. So, either way, but I reckon view range is probably better, because if you can see the target, that'll be a lot easier than going, oh, what happened? Oh, wait, no, my radio man spotted it. Silly, but no. So yeah, repairs, view range, so repairs first, situational awareness second, and extends the signal range. Or no, it's situational awareness, no, repairs. Yeah, sorry, my brain's starting to be mucked up, as you can tell. Finally, you've got the loader, and I would automatically state repairs. And then afterwards, once he hits 100% repairs on that, go to safe stowage, of which then it gives him the ability to increase the ammo track durability, which, is kind of a useful skill anyhow, because I'd always train this. I mean, not only is it helpful to have someone repair, it's also helpful to try and prevent stuff. So repairs first, and then safe stowage afterward. It's definitely something which, something I would highly recommend. After which, oops, wrong one. After which I wouldn't say. After which the skills are just pretty much after that. Not really anything else you can train. I'd say the loader is the least useful in skills, mainly because there's only one skill you can train that is actually useful. So there you go. Now let's get into the battles themselves. See you on the field. And we're back. And we're actually in very good tiering. It's ironic, though, that the KV-1, which has less health, has worse view range and everything, is on top of the tiers. Oh well. But anyway, I don't mind it. Rather have a KV-1 on my side. Handy tank, that is. But anyway, on to the actual battle itself. It's a standard battle on holiday homes. Well, not literally, that's not the map it is, but you know what I mean. And not many, if no one is going down that hill. Right, okay, cool. Fair enough. I will note that this is the half-term period, so good games are rare to come by. I'm not throwing out a pessimistic hammer out there, I'm just letting you guys know in case you see shocking team play. But anyway, what the Christ is the B7? No, never mind. I've been going through like 3 or 4 games trying to get decent footage, and either it's been nightmares, so I'm like, sod it, I'm recording anyway. Yeah, anyway. So, as you can tell, this thing doesn't go super fast down. It doesn't hit really high. It doesn't really hit a high top speed, but its acceleration factor, you can no doubt see, is just super handy. And especially when it comes to can't see a target, don't waste your ammo. So again, yeah, so basically its acceleration factors. Ah, you could see a target. I was just being blind. Right, let's just get some cover between myself and that. Oh god, a Panzer 1C. Whatever shall I do? Except ignore it. Yes! And a mighty fuck you goes out to that. There's an MET1 heavy as well. So as you can see there, a little bit of angling. Right, I've got no cover now. No, I've got the beach. Fuck you! Okay, I'm in a very bad position right now, so I need to fall back a bit. Ah, ricochet! No, I'm not. I'm gonna die. Because of that. Oh, sneaky little bastard. Well played. Well played, actually. And... ah, bollocks. Right, unfortunately I died, which is a bad thing, and I did advance perhaps too far out, which is true. I was hoping to move up a little bit and get some cover over there, but I eventually got pinned down super much, and I should have withdrawn. So, unfortunately, this game is going to go to hell in a hacksaw. I almost had those guys, and well played to the Frenchman for finding that useful cover in between. Well played to him. Unfortunately, the rest of the team are about as smart as a suicidal bat or something. I don't know. But yeah, this is what I've had for the last few games now. I've just been like, right, okay, sod it, I'm recording, even if I die. So there's the first game. Unfortunately, couldn't survive long enough to get it, and what I'll do is I'll continue recording when my tank comes back. And we're back, and we're in another map with a very good rating of tiers. So that's what I just said, only he had put a capital G. Anyway. So, last match didn't go so grand for me. Someone trying to shoot me, out of envy probably. And fair amount of people shouting words down the typing thing. We're currently going with some supporting. I've got a very tiny Panzer 38T, but never take the piss out of a tank, except if it's French. Now, lower tier French are the ones to take the piss out of. Higher tiers, never mind. I'll be honest with you, I haven't been on this map so much. But, that said, hopefully, due to its hilly environment, this actually can show a good strength. Now, they do have artillery, but it is only tier 3. Right, there's an enemy T-40 as well. And there's that 2.3 seeker name in time. Boom! What a shot that missed. Oh, hello, we got a kill. No, a hit. A hit! Hey, and there's a first kill. Right, let's move before we're spited. Spited? New word, spited. Spotted again. So as you can see, there, I would say the disadvantage, this is the second big disadvantage, is the armament of this tank. You know, it feels like you can do a hell of a lot more, but you can't. And that's the sad part. But once you, in a sense, I'm going to have to be careful now, otherwise I'm going to end up getting myself killed. In a sense, though, if you're careful and no one's watching the right-hand flank, okay, we're going to have to push. Right, Crusader knocked out by a Marder? Oh, God. Right, okay. Can't see him. Can see him. There you go. Stug. Bounced off the front of this tank. Ah, there is another big tank. KV-1. I'm in very bad position. Oh! Wow. Ricochet, of course. Taking quite a lot of punishment. Pray to the gods that we can destroy that bastard. Oh, hit him for God's sake! He's got the gun. Come on. Oh shit, he's angled. Oh, we penned him. Ow, took my first damage. So think about it, 3 shots penned. Oh, come on, get the kill. No! Oh, kill him, for God's sake. Thank you very much. Fire! Fuck you, Mr. M7! Right, we're already being capped by someone. Thankfully, it's only but one person. There is the Stug. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We are winning, but we're only 2 up from the kills. There is their other tank destroyer. this is a good thing. Because they could have been... Well, it's not a good thing, actually. It's the place... I don't know. On the move. Rare clutch shot. Ah, bollocks. Hit the thing. Move. And... Oh, he's going YOLO. And he failed YOLO. But no one's at the base. And we're going to lose this. God damn it. Well, it's pointless me trying to go back. Oh, shit. Nah, we'll get the Stug. Bang. Okay. I said we'll get the Stug. Nope. Don't you dare end the game before me killing you. Die. Thank you. Right. There you go. Fuck you all. I got 3 kills. Cowards. Nah. I mean, in a sense, it was a clutch win. So, yeah. If you're wondering what happened in the last game, we won that one. Hang on, let me just go up, nip up top. There you go. The one that I died, I got cool-headed, which is quite nice. And I also got steel wall. So, let's have a look at this thing, because I haven't actually done this much. So I've got the top score, even though it was a defeat. Most of the enemy team there, T1 Heavy, actually did not. Yeah, so anyway, we're not going to try and do the comparison thing, because that's just stupid. But anyway, so I got steel wall. I did 791 damage, got 3 kills. Detailed report, how much damage? Potential damage received, just over 1,755. I would have died if this thing had shitty armor. It's received 8, penetration 6. See, 13 shots hit. Was that just be for me? I think that's my shells, perhaps. I don't know. But anyway, potential damage received, absolutely fantastic. That's good. I mean, that speaks alone. That basically speaks for the armor that this thing has. Yes, this thing can die if overwhelmed. So this thing is pretty much... Actually, yeah, no, let's go on to the summary part of it now. Yeah, so in summary... Well, the T1 Heavy is an assault tanker, as you can see. It has to be the one leading the charge, and although it has to be the one leading the charge, it can't be leading it alone. You need backup to support you. And the frontal part of this armor will bounce a fair amount of shots, as you saw. I quite liked that. That was quite an awesome match, which showed it. But, you know, okay, so unfortunately, it's also down to your teammates to provide cover for you, because although this thing is powerful and it has good armor and it's got an amazing, it has an amazing sense of acceleration, its armament is crap. It's you know, the armament is crap. The armor, if you get caught out on the side, you will die stupidly easy. And its traverse speed means you can't turn this thing on a dime. So when you're attacking, make sure to break through on the attack. And once you've done that, ensure that people who have perhaps better guns than you, or have better accuracy, better penetration, are alongside. You know, you're just the tank that takes the damage. You know, in a sense, you're the one who takes the... Because your armor pings it off like nobody's business. And then you leave someone like a Stug to come alongside to shoot the enemy, or a KV-1. Well, okay, maybe not KV-1 because it'd be behind on the ground. But, you know, Stug coming alongside to assist you. An M4 Sherman comes around the flank. Anything like that. This is basically a spearhead tank. This is the one that takes the hits and charges. And, you know, I quite like it. I may not keep it, but I probably will eventually get it back again at some point. But that said, for this, I have to say it's a good tank. I really like it, and I'm hoping that it's very similar to... Oh, I can actually research it as well. Yeah, screw it. There you go. Oh, it's a new thing as well. Huzzah. I like that. I love it in background as well, but still. Yeah, so, what a way to finish it then. If it's anything like the M6, then I'm sure the M6 will be a fantastic tank to drive nonetheless. So, yeah, if you like this... Anyway, so that's it for this episode. So, thank you very much for watching. If you like this kind of content, do feel free to let me know by typing in the comments section down below. clicking on the like button, and of course subscribing to the channel. If you're into anything other stuff, I also run World of Tanks. World of Tanks. Yeah, did you know there's another game called World of Tanks? Controversy. No, there's another game called War Thunder. I also run Spore series, and I also run a Rome Total War series. Rome 2 Total War to be exact. So if you're interested in any of those, feel free to let me know by checking out the channel. I've got playlists on them. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. This is Crap Hunter signing out. I'll catch you next time.